reason and more that's just like a compounding symptom. You know what I mean?
You said the same thing. I said your possible over 1,000 Discord notifications is the reason for your anxiety. And you said, it's not the reason, but it's a symptom of it.
Yeah, it's a symptom of it. It's like my anxiety is
your
what
anxiety
causes...
yeah, but it's also, I imagine it's a pretty bad feedback loop.
Yeah, sucks.
Yeah, bad.
It's bad.
Yeah.
It's rough.
Do you want me to, tomorrow, as you're at work, do you want me to just go through all of them and mark the ones that you need to read?
Have you ever seen what happens when you like mess with another person's mental illness without them knowing? No.
Without them knowing? I've just told you what I'm going to do, though.
But
which is why I didn't just do it.
But I won't be here. No, is the answer. You can't do that today. No.
Okay, very good.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, my name's Robin. I've played 2 Dragon Age games.
Hello, my name's Dillin. I've played all the Dragon Age games a million times.
This is Dorkspawn.
This is Dorkspawn.
Look at us. We're in the same space.
We're like the podcast ladies who talk about...
You've said that like literally like 4 or 5 times since we've sat here. I don't know who you're talking about.
Because they're not anybody, because there's so many of them and they're all the same. It's 2 ladies and they're on a couch and they have a blanket that they're sharing and they're on... No, I don't know. Probably. But it's all of them. It's all of the 2 ladies under a blanket talking about relationships or true crime or both. And they have their microphones and they all do this. They don't have microphone arms. They all hold them in their hands like this.
Yeah.
And they're under their blankets. And that's who we are now.
That's who we are now.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I'm wearing my Final Fantasy VII Christmas jumper. I have a Parappa the Rapper themed hat, and we're about to talk about Dragon Age Inquisition. I'm the video game boy today.
You are.
I'm like locked in. Also, I've played. When I closed Dragon Age Inquisition, as I did when you got home today.
Yeah.
I played like 21 hours of Dragon Age in the past 2 weeks.
Love that.
And a significant portion of that has been over the past few days because I've beaten our missions, but then there's a whole world to explore.
There's a whole world out there. Do you want to know where this fellow went? Tell him where you went.
It's just like, I mean, everywhere.
They went to the Western Approach.
I don't know what that means. It was just a mission. It was just like, it asked me if I wanted to go to the Western Approach, and I said yes. And also, it's not even that bad because I needed to go there anyway to do my subquest, my specialization.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had to go there.
You had to go to the Western Approach.
You do have to go to the Western Approach. It's the only place you can get the things I needed.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for the judgment.
You're welcome very much for the judgment.
Yeah.
What was our main mission this week?
Okay, so our main missions, both, have 2 different names, and I can't remember what they are.
In Your Heart Shall Burn and From the Ashes.
Yeah.
From the Ashes is really like a small little thing, but In Your Heart Shall Burn is the big thing. It's the end of Act 1 of
huge
Dragon Age Inquisition. So we've sided with the mages, with the Templars.
Yeah.
We've decided who's going to help us close the breach. And now it's time to fucking close the breach.
Now it's time to do the damn thing. Did you do anything before these missions, or did you start the game and just start this mission immediately?
Oh, I went around. What did I do, though? I guess not terribly too much. Fallowmire saved our people.
Yep,
I think I did that at the end of last one. I made sure that everybody liked me as much as possible.
I did speak to everyone and go through all of their dialogue options to make sure that we were at least cool.
Yeah.
Before I went off. Everyone does like me a lot, except for Vivienne. She doesn't like me very much.
Vivienne and I are having a hard time as well. We're rough. I do like. I did connect with her on one thing where I think that mages being represented in the circles is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
She was okay with that.
Yeah.
She tolerated that opinion.
Yeah, she doesn't like me at all.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't... Helwyn just doesn't know anything, and she gets really annoyed at that.
Yeah.
I keep being like, yeah, but mages should be free, and I sided with them. And she's like, you dumb sack of shit, they'll kill everyone.
Yeah, she really is convinced that mages will kill everyone all the time.
Law and order. When I spoke to Blackwall, he gave me some... He was like, hey, go find these artifacts. So I spent most of before...
I did some of those too.
In Your Heart Shall Burn.
Yeah.
I went and I got all the things I could. Well, most of the things I could, because some of them were in places that I just couldn't.
Because you don't have deft hands find tools.
And I don't have that, but also I couldn't get to some of the certain areas.
Yeah.
And I did all that afterwards. But you go and you close the breach. You pick your team. Who was your team?
I did No, I didn't. I did Varric, Sarah, Cassandra. I believe so. Yeah.
I did Varric, Cassandra, Solus, because those are the original
crew.
And I was like, Cassandra probably wants to be there. Solus kind of has to be there. And then Varric, I was like, well, I mean, let's might as well get the original team going.
The crew, yeah.
Yeah. So I had all those. You go. It's just like you click on your party and then it teleports you to the breach. And then there's
You're closing it.
The speech, and then you close it.
Yep.
And then there's a party, and then credits roll. It's done. It so badly feels like the last cutscene in a video game where you've saved the world.
It does. Varric is talking to you, and he's like, "So what are you gonna do now, kid?" And you're like,
literally.
And you're like, I don't know, drink, drink a little bit. And then immediately, like, people are dancing, people are drinking. You get a nice little view, a topside view of Haven having fun. And then, pew, 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 pew. What was it like for you? Because we have different enemies.
Oh my God. Yeah, we do.
We do.
Well, I saw it was the Knight Commander, actually. It was the guy who you fought, was hanging out. All the Templars have joined up with the Elder One and are now storming Haven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's someone we met in the last game.
It is. We don't know who it is yet, because they don't say their name. It's just like the Elder One, and we see him in shadows.
Sorry. No. The person that is leading them for you is someone that we met in Dragon Age 2. And Cullen calls out his name and says that he knows them.
Oh my God, I missed that. Is it Alec?
No.
No.
Hold on. I'm just going to irritate me. Don't.
See, this is the thing with us doing this in person, is that before I start, I get the Dragon Age wiki open so I can keep
I should have done
Googling
that.
shit.
Samson. Yeah. Samson, who was like that kind of like lyrium addled Templar that we keep meeting in Dragon Age 2.
Oh my God.
And now he's the leader of the Red Templars.
Holy shit.
And so that's who shows up on the cliffside for you, because you sided with the mages, and that's who comes with the Red Templars. I sided with the Templars. I have Calpurnia shows up alongside Corypheus. Or the Elder One.
Yeah.
As we know him now. But shows up on the cliffside with the Elder One. I don't believe we know anything about Calpurnia before, but she's clearly a mage. She's in mage robes.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I had to fight all of these like mages that come down off the mountain and swarm Haven with
just
a dragon.
Mages?
They've been they've been drinking red lyrium instead of regular lyrium.
Yeah, okay, yeah, because all these Templars are like red lyrium Templars, and they're getting a little feral.
Yeah. The Red Templars have red lyrium like growing out of them.
Yeah.
The mages don't. They've just been using it.
Yeah. Yeah, and then when all this shit starts going on, you have to go protect the trebuchets at first. So you run and protect. You kill a lot of guys.
Love that shit.
Protecting all the trebuchets, making sure they're all fine for firing on the armies that are fighting you. And then when you've saved them, you go back and circle back around to Haven because the army has fully broken through the gates and are storming the people. So you go in and you're trying to save as many people as possible. Yep. I wasn't able to get them. I think I saved. So
we get Master Dennett first. Not Master Dennett. Nope. Sorry, Hagrid, the guy that does the forge.
Done that. I got him all of his stuff as well.
Great. Then we go up the little staircase, and in the house to the left, it's burning to the ground, or to the right. The house to the right is burning,
and that has the shopkeep in it.
Yep,
he died.
Oof, rough.
Yeah.
Yep. Then coming back and up the stairs, then there's a house and the door's blocked, and you gotta like climb up a ladder and jump down through the roof to get Flissa.
No, she died. Oh, he died because it's a guy, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
In that room.
But it's because I couldn't get in through the front, and I also tried jumping up and I couldn't do it. So I walked around the side, and then there was nothing. Yeah. I walked around. I switched to Cass. She broke down the door by just hitting it a bunch, and then as the door swung open, he died.
He died. Yeah. Then you go back around and up the stairs. This is the hardest one because there's two characters there. And you have to, and they're both on either side of a bunch of gas chambers that we have there that are like a fire is like making its way towards. And so you want to like revive them and get them up and out of the way before the fire reaches that and explodes it. And that one's tough because you have to do them in specific order. Otherwise you can't get there in time. And all of them are super tricky because if you move too close to the next one before you're done with the one before, it triggers it and like the timer starts running down on it. It's super tough. It's very exciting. Oh, and then the shitty guy who likes Logain is the last one.
I say, and she's in the tavern, right?
Yeah.
I saved her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course you saved her.
Because she was easy. She was right there in the center of the floor. It was an easy grab. So I saved two people together.
Yeah. I saved everyone.
Yeah.
It's very important to me.
I saw you reload the save a bunch.
I did.
Yeah.
Once. Only once.
You did it twice.
Not even a little bit.
You did. I watched you do it more than once.
You did not.
I
because
did.
You're lying.
No, you reloaded that save more than once.
I did not. I reloaded it just after the first one, and that was it. It was the first one. You just.
All right. Hey, listen.
You're a hater, is what it is.
Yes, correct. Maybe I'm wrong.
You are.
Don't grab my arm like that. But then you do all that.
Yep.
You get back to the chantry.
Yeah.
Then the counselor.
Yes.
Is like he
the chancellor.
Yeah. Thank you. He got stabbed or shot by a mage, I imagine. Whilst protecting someone else.
Wait a second. Who told you about the Red Templars showing up?
Cullen did. Oh, shit. No. Cole did. Cole turned up for me.
Yeah.
Yes, Cole turned up. And then he was like, holy shit, there's a bunch of Templars. And everyone, it's like, does he say? Oh, no. Everyone starts arguing about who Cole is after this. But yeah. He's like banging on the door saying, hey, I'm safe, let me in. And then everyone lets him in. And then he's like, hey, yeah, there's a bunch of guys coming. We
Mhm.
really got to hustle. And that's how that starts. How does it happen with you? I forgot that this was different.
Yeah. So Dorian, like all out of breath and looking so fine, shows up on my doorstep and is like, mages, they're on their way. They're bad. Venatori. It's a bad thing. And it explains that the Venatori are this, cult that some of the Magisters in Tevinter have gotten wrapped up in. And Calpurnia has turned them against the Inquisition and has allied them with this Elder One, and that they're coming here and they're almost here. And so he's who warns us, gives us a heads up. And then when we fast forward and we come back saving people in Haven and we come back to the doors, Dorian is carrying the Chancellor and is basically like, he is hit, he's not well. We're arguing about what to do and how we're going to take this. Cullen is talking real bad about it. Cullen's like, well, why don't we all just go out there and try to kill as many people as we can before we die, huh?
Yeah, because
and I'm like,
he fully says, like, this isn't a... It's at this point, it's just how long we can live for. Or like it's about slowing them down.
So what's interesting is he says in both versions, he says at this point, just make them work for it you're running your way back to the Chantry. But I haven't done the Templar version of this game in so long that some of this is newer or fresher to me.
Yeah.
When we come back, all the way back there, Cullen, because like for you get back there and Cole starts like saying the Chancellor's thoughts out loud.
Yeah.
It's like, we're, or whatever. And there's that whole scene.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen for me. There's just an argument where Cullen and Dorian are fighting in a way that makes me think they want to kiss each other. They fight so close to each other's faces about what to do. And Cullen just leans more heavy into that, like, no, we got to go out there and just kill as many as we can and die.
Oh my God.
And then the Chancellor is like, wait a second, I know a way out of here because I made the summer pilgrimage or whatever. So then we're like, okay, I'll do it. And Cullen's like, well, damn, all right, well, just make sure we get to our point before you before you bring the place down.
It's fun because the Chancellor really has a full 180. Like, he's been kind of the like court villain this whole time. He's like against the Inquisition, he's against basically everything you do, and then at this moment he's like, oh, Andraste sent me specifically to save everyone here, and he also sent Andraste sent you to save everyone from this Elder One being, because why else would I have found this random entrance in the summer place and all this stuff? Exactly. He really like redeems himself in this last moment, which I think is cool.
Yeah, he does.
And because he dies and he's like, I'm gonna show everyone how to get out of here, and then is fully like, I am really sorry. I now, like, Andraste has proven, or the Maker has proven, that you were here for a reason. Yeah. And my whole life has led to saving you specifically.
Yeah.
And it's cool.
I held my tongue about that one.
Oh.
Like, okay. Sure.
Sure thing, buddy.
Sure, it was Andraste. Fine.
But then you have to go and you have to re-secure the trebuchet.
There's one working trebuchet left, and this time we're not going to throw it at the army. We're going to throw it at the side of the cliff, the snowy mountain in the distance, and we're going to avalanche right onto Haven. We're going to bury Haven in snow.
Yeah.
And all of our enemies, and hopefully the Elder One with it. And we go and we bring our crew this time, and it's an epic little fight. So like, these trebuchet fights are so fun. In the first one you do earlier, you're keeping them off one of your Inquisition soldiers as she's like aiming the trebuchet and getting it ready to fire. And then there's a second one where there are like a couple of waves of villains, but the trebuchet is not firing because the guard that was there is dead. And so you have to like get it aimed and set up while you're being attacked. And in this third one, it's like that, but there's like wave after wave after wave, and it takes forever. And you're also not just aiming it in the same place. You have to aim it all the way back at the mountain. So you're like,
it takes ages.
Takes ages
and
to
then
do.
Partway through, giant boss turns up. Who I actually didn't end up killing. I did the trebuchet before I killed them because who
are you talking about?
The big boss. Because for me, it is who's the leader of the Templars? Who is your leader of the Templars? Like in your mission, in the Templar mission, because it was someone. I think it was someone who it was like a named person who is now so full of lyrium that they are a giant fucking beast. And it was a Templar, and I think I might have been Alexis.
No.
Alexius,
Magister Alexius is the guy that you either killed or you put in jail. Yes,
I did. Yeah, it's not Alexius. It's someone who I remember their name, and no, obviously I didn't write it down.
Cerberus?
It was someone. I'll re-look it up.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
It's because Alexis thinks we're talking to her, and we're never talking to her. She feels so bad about it.
I know.
But I didn't end up killing the boss. My tactic for this fight was everyone has got my back. I'm just going to do the trebuchet whilst they're all fighting. And then because I'm a rogue, I just turned stealth. And then it leaves as soon as I do it. But then every enemy is engaged with someone. So no one turns and starts fighting me.
Did you fight any of the big bosses for you are those like red Templar giant things?
The giants, yeah.
You didn't fight any of those?
I fought only the one. If I fought more, I killed them. But the last one, who was like a named person,
I don't know.
That person I didn't kill because I didn't kill the last wave of people because it's him and then one extra wave, and I didn't kill them. I just kept doing it, and it's a shame because if I held on for literally 10 more seconds, he would have died. Because he had dog shit, like no health. And then as soon as I did it, I was like, yeah, shit, I missed out on loads of experience of it.
Yeah.
I missed out on most of the experience of that fight. Who was yours? It's just a bunch of mages.
It's just a bunch of mages. Yeah. I mean, they're like really powerful towards the end.
Yeah. Is the boss like a giant abomination or something?
I don't know that it's really a boss. It's just like several waves of like tough mages.
Interesting, because the guy I fought was definitely a boss. Because he was huge, had 4 times the health of everything else, had like shielding abilities. He came in on his own separate wave.
Maybe I do, and I just killed them and didn't realize that they were.
Or maybe
that cool.
The mage thing is that they just don't have a boss. It's like there's just more of them or something.
I don't know.
But
yeah,
you do it, and then
I did it, and then you have the coolest cutscene ever.
Through the flames walks the Elder One, who it turns out is not just any guy. He's fucking Corypheus from the Legacy DLC of Dragon Age 2.
Yes, and he's got an archdemon with him.
He has an archdemon with him.
A cool undead dragon with holes in him, and he's all creepy.
The lead villain from Origins and one of the lead villains from Dragon Age 2.
Yeah.
Both arrive in Inquisition to say, hi, this is the third game, so we brought all of your favorite villains. And I said, oh my god, hi.
Oh my god.
Just need Meredith to make it a full house. He reveals that the thing that you're using to close the rifts is something that he created called the Anchor, that he created to go to like climb to the heavens, right? And open up a door to
tear down the veil.
Yeah,
is what he says he wants to do.
Yes.
And why does he say he wants to do that?
Because he is.
Do it. Say it. Say it to me.
My handwriting is not good enough. Beg that I am successful, for I have seen the throne of the gods and it is empty.
Fucking banger.
The coolest line
fucking
ever. Dude.
Banger.
So fucking hot. That should be our outro.
Beg that I succeed, for I have seen the throne of the gods
and it is empty. That's a good outro.
That is a pretty good outro, actually. I think that's the one. That's the one. That's it.
and it's fucking great. I love, even the first time I played this and I had no context for who he is or anything like that, this guy fucking owns. He looks so good.
He looks very
His
good.
character design is fucking awesome.
Yeah, he looks terrifying. He looks so evil.
I remember that
he looks sticky.
I said when we played Awakening, I thought the architect was him because they look very similar, and then you said yes, there's a reason for that, and I imagine it's because they're both like Tevinter Magisters. Is the architect a Magister?
Yeah,
he was. So they're both like the original Darkspawn.
Then they're both kind of
intelligent.
Yeah, and they're both playing with the same
themes,
toys. They're both trying to
I guess
play with what makes Darkspawn come back from the grave in order to try to like extend life for their magical machinations.
I wonder if it's like, this is definitely not it, because I imagine that they would have said, or you would know, that if it was like a specific like circle of magisters in this old time who all did, like, would the architect know who Corypheus was? And would Corypheus know the architect? Because they were like, yeah, we were peers in Tevinter, which is why we are now this weird, hideous Darkspawn thing, because it all happened to us at the same time.
Yeah.
Because Corypheus is fucking awesome. My favorite bits of every single Dragon Age game has to do with the architect or Corypheus. Like, all of them. Because that whole, like, we don't know anything about Tevinter. We've never been there. But we've heard about them this whole game, and the two people from Tevinter who we've seen are both these, like, the first Darkspawn. And I just think it's like, it's a really fucking cool story. Yeah. And they're like these immortal things that are, one is trying to do good for Darkspawn, and one is like, I'm actually going to tear down the throne of gods because it's empty, and someone needs to sit there.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, we are going to get a lot more about Tevinter and like the history. Sleepy.
It's so snuggly.
It's so snuggly in here. And like the history of like mages in Tevinter.
Yeah.
Because like through this story. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I have done a Tevinter based quest already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there will be others.
More, I can imagine. One of my main enemies in the overworld is Venatori, and Tevinter Blank. Is one of my main. It's one of the main. I don't know if it's the same for you, but for me anyway, it's like there's just a lot of Venatori everywhere.
Yeah. Now there are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you get avalanched.
Yep. And how did you respond to this? Because they're interesting. It doesn't like affect anything mechanically, but they're interesting choices to me.
It's the final
of like,
speech
how do
you hit the trebuchet?
That, and like, how do you react to him revealing what his plan is for you? Because you can like kind of react by being like, fuck you, man. You can react by being like, tell me what's going on.
Yeah.
And you're going to react by being like, I hate this.
Stop.
I hate it. Don't do this anymore.
I think because there was a lot of choices of like, hello, hey, let me help you that I picked. And then when he kept refusing, I said, okay, then why are you doing this then? Like, what is the point of this fight? Because now I didn't do a huge like character swing with Helwyn from this, but she is being a bit more stern. She didn't join the Inquisition. She was forced to be the leader of the Inquisition. And her thing is like, okay, I'm going to help as many people as possible. And then couldn't when everyone burnt to death in Haven because she only was able to save 2 and even though she was trying to save everyone, she just couldn't do it. Mm-hmm. So she is now like, Corypheus needs to fucking die because this is awful. But still tried to help him. But I didn't want to have like a big character swing where she's like hardened now. It's like, no, now she wants to help more people more. So everything is better.
She's got to make up for it now. She's guilty about Haven. I like that swing.
The big final line was cool though. I can't remember what it was. It wasn't like a fuck you, I got mine, or like here's a cool like I didn't want it to be a cool line, but then it ended up being a very cool line.
Yeah.
It was the one where it's like, I just need to slow you down or something.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and I was like, that's fucking
yeah. Mine was
awesome.
Also cool. Mine was basically like, because he's like giving you this big speech and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And he's going on and on, having his villain moment, and so I was like, no, keep talking. And then it's basically like, by all means, keep talking or something like that.
That's actually very good. I actually like that very much.
And then you kick the thing and it whoosh, and then you run and do a dive into a hole. I don't know where that hole came from.
I don't know what,
but you dive into
the
it.
dragon made.
Yep. And now this part is a very.
He also has an orb. Very important.
That's what he used. The anchor. That's the orb that he used to make the anchor.
We learn the name of later, but it's the first time we've seen like this thing of
the artifact
he's using. Yeah, this magical artifact that then starts. He tries to remove the anchor from you forcefully,
which I was like, here. I chose the dialogue to be like, I don't want it. I didn't ask for this at all. So whatever, take it back.
Oh, nice.
And he was like, fuck, I can't. I was like, well, that's your problem, I guess.
Then. Get good. But then you fall into this hole, and then you gain a limit break. Very exciting. Final Fantasy X for you there. You gain your special move.
Oh, well, yes, you do. But this whole sequence, I'm dying to know how you feel about it, because it's very divisive. This little sequence where you're now alone.
Yeah.
You've sent the avalanche. You've gotten a signal that that the Inquisition has made it far enough away into the mountains. And now you're underground and you're trying to make your way out and find your way back to them. And like, yeah, you like your first little bit, you encounter a couple of like wraiths and
sure, and they're like one-shot kills and they're super easy and shit.
Yeah, especially because you use your new rift ability and they just die instantly.
Okay, so to answer your question, because I believe I know what you mean, I really like the idea, but I wanted a unique animation to go with it, because so it's like you're like moving really slow, you're on your own, you're super injured. But for me, I'm playing a female elf, so instead of being like injured, holding my side and like hobbling through this like snowy cavern, I was slowly, sexily sauntering through this cavern, not able to do anything or run or jump, and I was just like swaying my little elven hips, and I was like, this kind of ruins the moment. It's not cool.
That's funny. Yeah,
it's like I it wasn't showing that Helwyn was hurt, it's showing that she was just slow. And it's like, okay, I know that they definitely wanted
they do that better in the snow. I think
they do it
because in the snow she's like, they really struggle, like they're like can't get their legs up out of the snow, and like each step takes like a
which
good,
is cool, and I like that.
I like that part.
I think that moment's really neat. It's this first bit that's like, all right, I know what you're trying to do, but you're not doing it.
Yeah. I like it. I like that whole part. It makes you really feel frustrated and alone, and you find these like little signs of the Inquisition. You find like embers of a campfire, like some, like a missing pack or whatever, and like things that you're following through the woods.
It gets you. It allows you time to absorb all of the end of Act 1, all of the Corypheus stuff, which I think is good and useful, and it's like a very dramatic bit. I understand why people don't like it, because I am on the edge of not liking it, because it was clearly a crunch thing where they didn't. It's the same thing of like, oh yeah, the horse doesn't actually move quicker, it just looks like it does. It's one of those things where it's like, I understand what you're trying to do, but I need an animation for you to show me that I'm struggling to walk, not just put me onto like really slow walking speed, because that's less interesting to look at, and it takes me out of the moment. But then when we're in the snow, I really like that, because it also keeps cutting like ahead of time, it like fades to black and then fades back up, and you're still in the snow,
and you're
like,
worse each time. You
Yeah.
you can barely, like, by the last one, you can barely walk and you can barely move forward. And you turn around a corner and you could see like the firelight of a campfire as you turn around the corner, and then you hear Cullen shout for you, and some people
Which
run
I
up
can
to you.
imagine if you're a Cullen romancer, then that's really good.
Yeah,
Really
yeah,
good
for
bit.
sure. And then you pass out immediately in the snow, and then you wake up, and you're at camp.
Yeah.
You're at camp.
They've made a little camp. Everyone is gathered round. You see Cullen, Josephine, Cassandra, and Liliana screaming at each other.
Fighting to the death.
Yeah, they are so angry.
About what? I'm not sure.
Oh, I mean, probably next move. It's like,
Yeah.
well, now we have them. What the fuck do? We can't go back to Haven because no one knows about Skyhold, right? It's only Solus.
Correct, yeah.
Who knows about Skyhold. So they're probably all arguing about, like, where do we go?
Right.
What is the fucking point of this? You sleepily get up. Mother Giselle. That's her name, right?
Yeah, Mother Giselle starts preaching to me immediately, and I'm like, lady, I do not believe in any of this. I have told you so often, and she just didn't care.
It
what
is
I had to say.
Weird, because I'm a Dalish elf.
Yeah,
and you are a Quinari belonging to the Cune, belonging to the Cune. What's your story there?
I left the Cune so early. Fuck that Cune.
Yeah. So you're not part of the religion, you're just part of the people.
Yeah.
But regardless, she does not. She's like, she's a pretty big. It's pretty big in the story that, again, is held of Andraste, but it's interesting if you're not that religion, because she is also like, oh my God, praise Jesus, you came back, and you're like, oh my God, lady.
And I said that to her. I'm like, I did not die, so I did not come back. That's not what happened here. And she's like, wouldn't it be great to just lie to everyone, though, and tell them that you did? And I was like, religion is poison. You are all poisoned.
And then you can be like, hey, so Corivia saw the throne of the gods and it is empty. Everyone has abandoned us.
Yeah.
And then she's like, yeah, well, the Maker did, like, leave us, and we know that. And it's like, oh my God, shut fuck up. And then anyway, you leave. Everyone's really angry, and then and then she starts singing this Lord of the Rings ass song.
Yeah.
Which is neat. I like the song. And then Liliana joins in, which is my favorite bit because she's the bard.
She's the bard. It did give me flashbacks to Origins the first time, where I was just like, oh no, is this going to be 20 minutes of Liliana
20-minute cutscene
singing? But it's actually pleasant. Everybody joins in. The whole camp joins in.
Yeah. As we said, Cullen has a very nice voice, which is a shame.
Great singing voice. Terrible personality.
I know. And then, for both of us, Solus is like, hey, can I steal you away for a second?
Yeah.
And this is fun because ours are pretty different.
Yeah, ours are interesting. There's some similarities. I know that he tells us both that the artifact is elven. And he's like, kind of freaking out about that, just to be honest with you. Because the people, when they find that out, when they find the origins out, they're going to take it out against the elves. And I don't want that.
Yep.
It's already fragile.
Item called the foci.
Yeah. And he's like, I need your help, basically. But he says something interesting extra to you.
I don't know what that is, though, because I didn't hear your one. But I know he says a lot, because he opens with the, well, you're Dalish, so, and then, goes on a bit. Do you know what he says to me?
Well, I know he says, like, I don't remember exactly, but I know that he gives you an opportunity to kind of, like empathize with the elves a little bit. If you, like, understand what he's saying, in that, like, people will respond poorly. And if you try to deny that, he's like, fuck you.
Grow up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which obviously I did not. I was like, yeah, no, I see how that's going to go, obviously. And yeah, and so then he's like, well, the people here need a leader, and that's gotta be you.
Yeah.
And he's like, I know a place. And what you're going to do is I'm not going to lead them there. You have to. And he basically tells you where to scout, and then you go scout, and you're like, oh, there it is, just like he said. And you drag this whole caravan of people up, like basically straight up a mountain, as far as I could tell.
Truly.
Yeah. Like into the clouds to find Skyhold.
Yeah. So that scene, I really don't want to be a big soulless head over here. I fucking
but it's
love
pretty
this
good.
guy.
It's good, right?
He's great. Like every conversation I've had with him has been interesting.
Yeah.
He's always really like positive about your impact on things.
Yeah.
And then that bit there when he's like, listen, I know how to save everyone's life. You have to do it though, because that's cool and big. And he's just like a big supporter of you, and also pulling you aside to be like, hey, so I know everything that's going on here. I'm going to tell you and hit you up about how, and he also helps you fix the breach and does all this stuff. I think he's really good.
He's really cool. He's a great character. He's like just excellent. It's true. He's an excellent character.
Yeah.
So you find Skyhold. It is a dilapidated place.
Yeah. Completely wrecked. It is also a very beautiful, sunny, warm-looking place in the middle of the snowiest, coldest mountains ever.
Yeah.
And it's a bit weird because it never, every single time we're there, I'm like, man, this place must be freezing. But everyone is just lounging and being like, oh, isn't it nice weather? It's not snowing here at all. But everything around us is frozen tundra. Which I always think is pretty weird. So it is truly the heat of Andraste's message is keeping this place warm.
I think it's the architecture.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think it's the architecture.
It's heated?
No, it's like the acoustics.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. It's when the more people speak at the same time, the warmer it gets.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Thank you.
Which is why London and New York City are so warm all the time.
They are when you stay in the central parts in between the buildings.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. As soon as you get on the outer edge of the buildings,
when less people are talking, it gets colder. Yeah.
This fucking guy.
That's why if you live alone, you're cold. But if you live with lots of people, you're nice and warm because everyone's talking.
Yeah. Yes.
I know. I started understanding what you meant the more I spoke. And I'm mad about it. I'm mad and ashamed about it. But it's completely dilapidated.
Yeah.
And this is one of my favorite kind of mechanical, like environmental storytelling things. Because this truly is environmental storytelling. Whenever you leave Skyhold and then come back to do any mission, any like search, and then come back, it's a tiny bit cleaned up. As soon as you arrive there, all of the like your central characters are all kind of like they're all kind
staring at you,
like in the middle of the they're all like very close to one another. But then the more you go and you come back, each of them kind of find where they want to hang out at. And I just think that's really fucking cool.
Yeah.
As everyone's kind of getting settled. But before I did leave for the first time, I spoke to everyone.
Yeah.
I found out about Cassandra's brother.
Oh, nice. So you've got a pretty decent approval with her. She doesn't tell you that if you don't.
Ah, well, I mean, she loves me.
We have a contentious relationship. She won't tell me about her brother yet.
No, I love her. Mm-mm. Yeah, I hang out with her a lot. I was telling you about this just in between weeks. Man, I love Blackwall so much. Yeah. Holy shit, I love him so dearly. He's great. He's still the most sus guy in the world.
Oh, for sure.
And I don't think he's an actual Grey Warden, but I love him a lot. Vivienne was really pissed at me. She fully blamed me for everything that went on and was like,
oh, because you didn't save everybody. She does get pissed
Yeah.
at you if you don't.
Yeah, she got really angry. And when I was like, I'm sorry I tried, she's like, don't apologize, it's fine. And I was like, you just yelled at me for like a while about how bad I did. And then as soon as I apologized, she's like, no, I'm not mad at you. And it's like, oh, you fucking are though.
Yeah, she's mad at you in politics. That's the language that she speaks. She's pissed at you / political.
Yeah. But and if you appeal to her humanity in any way, she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. No,
I didn't mean to upset you. I will unseat you
and
everything you stand for."
Oh, you also, of course, the most important thing that happens that I did skip over is you become the Inquisitor.
Yeah, so that's a thing. So you arrive here. The very first thing that happens before you even get to talk to any of your friends or see any of this dilapidated keep that you've just stole, you show up here, and Cassandra, Liliana, Cullen, and Josie are staring at you with a cheeky little smile on their faces, and you're like, what? And they're like, come here, we just want to talk to you. And then you're like, what? You come over here. And they're like, no, you come over here. And then you go over there, and Cassandra's like, look, so the Inquisition needs a leader, and one, since you've come back from the dead twice now and everybody calls you the Herald of Andraste, but also because you've done a super good job, would you like to do it? We already kind of decided Liliana's holding the sword. Go pick it up. Go pick it up. Go get it.
It's not just any sword. It's the coolest sword.
It's a very cool
ever.
Sword.
It's a sword that makes me angry that I don't wield a sword, because if I was playing a warrior sword and shield, I'd be like, can I just fucking
It's a very funny thing on a Lavellin, especially because it looks like it is double your size when you hold it up. It looks more normal in my Canary hands.
My elven lady is the thinnest thing. I feel like I will snap at any point, and it's to the point where it's a little frustrating for me, because it's like, damn, I wish I had a choice to buff her out a little bit. No. Lavellin is very funny in that way. I also think it makes me very emotional that I noticed it when I was playing this character, that it's still a very like upsetting picture, but when Corypheus's dragon like walks behind you and you're like crouched over in pain because the anchor is exploding in your hands, like Lavellin looks so tiny, like behind this fucking dragon, and it's just like, holy shit. It's like when they zoom out on the Titanic, like when they're sending the flares up, and you're just like, oh, we're fucked. We're so fucked. It's that feeling. So Llewellyn's tiny. My Kunari guy, no problem, picked up that sword. Definitely didn't need to topple over at all. So you are made Inquisitor basically without your consent, but you have a couple of options based on your background of things you can say when you accept the role. One, I was like, are you gang, are you sure you want a Canary leading the Inquisition? And I didn't love the response, because the response was not a Canary, you. And I was like, but the thing about that. But then when I accepted it, I had a choice. My two choices that I had, in addition to, like, you have some that everybody has. And then I had two special choices of what I could say. One was to say a Canary will stand for us all. And like, one was to basically say, like a mage will stand for us all. Actually, mine was not a mage will stand for us all. Mine was I'll set a good example for mages. Oh, Jesus.
Because I've been kind of middling on the mages.
Yeah, of course you have, yeah. You sided with,
because I sided with the Templars.
You did break up the order, to be fair.
And I broke up the Templar order. But anyway, I went with that one because I was like, fuck the Canary. Yeah. I don't like the Cune. So no.
Yeah.
What did you get?
I did an elf. When we win, it won't be just the Inquisition, it will be an elf that did this.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
and you got the approvals and disapprovals.
Yeah.
Sarah hated it.
Hated that.
Yeah.
Sarah was like, I'm pretty sure the only one that was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But then I went to go speak to her afterwards, and I was like, hey, how you doing? And she's like, so God exists, I think, and I'm having a crisis.
Yeah, she was having a panic attack. That's one of my favorite bits from her.
Which is like, yeah, dude.
She's
obviously.
like, I thought we were at war and I was going to kill stuff. God's involved?
God's involved, and now I'm not a religious person, but now it's proven that God exists, and not only does God exist, but God has left us, or is dead, and a guy is going to sit in the throne. What the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that from her.
It was good. It was a bit where it was like, yeah, that was a bit where we were talking like, you know, we were being more pally about it because Helwyn and Sarah does not have a good relationship. But now it's like,
it's a little bit
all right. Yeah, this sucks.
Yeah. I told her in that conversation to keep doubting. I said, I need people to keep doubting me because everybody else is telling me that, God is real and God is puppeting me. So if you could be the opposite of that, that would be rad as fuck, actually.
You are completely surrounded by yes men to the point where you have a war table where you can tell anyone to go do anything and they're like, yes, I will do that. It'll take me 3 hours.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. I sat with Iron Bull and we went around the soldiers and we had a drink. That was fun.
And you like kind of camouflaged yourself, right?
Yeah.
He humanized your men for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He said that a leader has to know all of their men, but you can't do that because there are just too many of them. So it's good for you to get on board and see some of them.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is really good, dude. Actually, that's great. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you saying that.
And like I like it because you meet, like, he introduces you to like a fresh-faced soldier who just joined up because they were passionate about what the Inquisition is doing. And then a really old veteran who's been like in the army for ages and ages and who has rejoined up because she saw you fight Corypheus at Haven.
Oh, yeah.
And it moved her. And so now she's fighting again.
Yeah.
Out of retirement.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's just a really like, I have to do this for these people, not just...
It's fully, it's fully like, it's cool. It's a really good little moment.
Yeah.
Then you speak to Varric, and then you don't necessarily speak to Varric, but you are talking to Varric, and he's like, well, we have this one thing that we really need to do, and I know someone. And Cassandra's like, you better fucking not know someone who can help.
Yeah.
And he's like, I may or may not know someone who can help. And she was like, you told me this better not be the person I'm thinking about because you said you had no idea where they were. And he was like, well, maybe I found her again. Maybe she's knocking around and now I know where she is. And it's very funny because Cassandra, every single time you speak to Cassandra,
until
this certain someone comes to the battlements, she's so fucking angry at Varric. She's like, it better fucking not be the same person. There was that. I speak to Blackcall. He's doing some. He's like decorating a cool. He's like carpenting. He's doing carpentry.
Did he walk the battlements with you?
Yes, that's
the first
what happened
one.
First. Yeah,
that's later.
The battlements together.
Yeah.
And that was fun. It didn't really last very long. I thought it would last longer. I think I might have said something wrong to him.
It's short.
I did say, because he was like, he said something, and then I said, it sounds like, I think I said something like, well, shouldn't you be more worried about yourself or something? And then he got kind of angry at my insinuation of not that he should care about, because I can't specifically remember what it was, so I'm not making much sense. But it was one of the things where in the short clip of like, these are the words you say, I was like, oh yeah, I want to say that. And then when the full sentence came out,
it's a little bit different.
It was different to how I thought. And I was like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
I said something completely different. So that was good. I truly can't talk enough about how much I love Blackwall. Speak to Solus. He's making a tower. Yeah,
he's painting a tower. He's painting murals in his little circle,
and they all look pretty much exactly the same to all of the tarot cards that you pull whenever you like walk through a character. So I was like, oh, that's kind of fun. It kind of implies that it's like kind of his design of stuff, which I think is neat. It's another reason why I'm really horny about Solus right now. Love this fucking
he's
guy.
really cool.
Am I missing anyone?
Cole. You got to search for Cole.
Everyone was arguing about Cole. Vivienne wants him out, dead, out of there.
Yep. Solus is like, no.
This is another thing which I think Solus is really cool about, because he's like hard fighting for Cole, like from the off. Is like, no, he is. Because Vivienne's like, yeah, but he's a demon, and Solus is like, well, yeah, but he saved us. So how bad can this fucking demon be if this demon came and warned us about an attack so we could get people out to live? Like, clearly he's good.
I got to come out and be like, I know him.
Yeah.
He has been with us, by the way, for a month. So
where is this coming from?
Yeah.
Is it the same? It's the same fight then?
It's similar. I think it's just like a couple of little
sure
tweaks.
Yeah.
But then you find him, and Cole is like, I want to help people. I want to help this Inquisition, and now where I'm here, I can hear all of their hurting, and I have to help them. And when you're like, all right, show me more about what you mean, he goes over to your little like makeshift hospital area where you have like your injured Inquisition soldiers being nursed. And a couple of them are dying and die right away. And then there's one that he like is reading their thoughts like right up until they die. And he reads the thoughts of one where like all the thoughts are just pain. It's just like cracked lips and can't breathe. And like, it's just like, he's describing this like persistent suffering. And he turns to you and it's like, it'll take weeks to die. Let me help. And you have the option to be like, no, give him a chance to live.
Yeah.
Or, okay, go ahead and help. And if you let him help, he kills this soldier in like a mercy killing type of way. And is like, I would like to stay and help the Inquisition.
What did you do for that?
I told him to do it. And I was like, yeah. And then I told him to stay.
Yeah.
Because
I was obviously like, you can't read the future, so you don't know. So give them a fighting chance. We can try. And then he was like, interesting. Okay. I would like to stay. And I was like, yep, please do.
Yeah.
Love Cole.
God,
I love Cole so much. It is fun that I do believe that my two favorite companions in all of the franchise are both spirits in Justice and Cole. I just think they're the best because they add such an interesting flavor
they do
to all the characters.
And now
and Anders,
I have done a lot of stuff after like the meeting of the crew. I've left Skyhold very little, but I did a lot of stuff to like just get myself to where I wanted to be at the end of this episode that we're recording right now. And I think I've nailed Cole's environmental storytelling dialogues faster than I ever have. Just by zipping around Skyhold and exploring Skyhold. You walk past certain groups of people and you notice there's like ambient like chatter that will happen. Yeah. Well, sometimes when there's ambient chatter, you want to pause and listen to it because it will update the story in some way.
Yeah.
There's a great one at Haven where some of the refugee mages. So I couldn't get it this time, but it could have happened in yours where you walk past some of the like refugee mages and they talk about how they all took Iron Bull for a spin like the night before.
Oh my God. No way.
Yeah. And they're just having like a little gossip session about it.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
And then I actually got a great one at Haven of some Chantry sisters talking that I don't think I ever brought up that I had never gotten before, where the Chantry sisters were talking about like about the mages and the Templar conflict, and one of the sisters was like, you don't understand. I have served a circle tower my whole life. Mages are people deserving of protection. They're not what people are saying. And they had this whole argument about it, this whole like political fight. Like just in the background. I love that
really
shit.
Cool.
But I overhear people in Skyhold having these little conversations. One is like, it was like someone stole all the turnips.
Oh yeah.
I don't know where they went. And like at the end of this little thing, it's like they were right here and then they were gone or something like that.
Yeah.
And then there's like a couple more that are all related to this same chain of dialogues.
Oh, that's fun.
And there's a couple sets of them that you can collect just by kind of roaming around. And once you can talk to Cole and confront him about them. And it's interesting.
So, that's fun.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it's a really big little bit of growth for him. So yeah. Okay. So
all the people you speak to, you can speak to all your companions. They all have fun
met
stuff.
Dorian. He's in the library.
Yep.
Being so hot.
God, you love Dorian so much.
I love him so much. I love him so much.
What does he talk about after the Haven to Skyhold move?
So it's interesting. He's like, look, he actually gives me a big spiel here because
we haven't been on the mission.
we haven't officially asked him to join the Inquisition. Yeah. So we have a big talk in the library. He tells me about where he comes from. He tells me about his problems with Tevinter. And he's like, I have to be here for this, especially knowing that this person, is involved with the Venatori, is potentially, someone from my ancestral homeland. Someone has to be here to show that not all of Tevinter is like that. Like someone has to be here to push back against it. It's a great speech. Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah. It's very passionate. And then, we dig into his, his homeland and his beliefs and everything like that. We flirt a little bit. He makes a couple of comments about watching me come and go. It's
very
nice.
Good.
Yep.
This comes quite neatly over to my next question. Who are you romancing?
Oh, Dorian.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Very strong.
Yeah.
Of course. So I spoke with Solus. And then he said he wanted to show me something. So I was like, oh yeah, sure. And then we went to Haven together, me and Solus. And Haven was fine and it was perfect. But then the breach was still in the sky and I was like, oh, that's weird. I swear we closed that. And then he's like, yeah, this is oh, no. And we're just chatting. And then I kiss him and he's like, oh my God. And then he kisses me back and it's very cool. It's a good kiss. I don't know if you've ever romanced Solus, but it's a good kiss.
I have.
He does a good kiss.
It's a great kiss.
And then he's like, we shouldn't do this. I was like, why? And he's like, we shouldn't because it should be real. And I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
And he's like, you need to wake up. And then I woke up and I walked downstairs and talked to him. He was like, yeah, sorry. When I said I'd take you to Haven, we walked through the veil and then we did that. And then I was like, do you want to do that for real? And he was like, I don't know if I can. It doesn't seem appropriate because you're the Inquisitor and I'm just a guy. And I was like, okay. And he's like, can I think on it? I was like, yes, you can think on it. And I walked and I'm pretty smitten about it. I like him a lot, actually. What's weird is I decided to romance Solus in the same way that I decided to romance Morrigan, where I was like, oh no, sorry, where I decided to romance Anders. I did the same with Morrigan, but I kind of have, I'll explain that in a second. Where I was like, I know something interesting happened, so I want to see what happens in the story. And that was my main motivator. But I think I would romance Solus anyway if I was decided to play a the same character, like a female elf, and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
could
yeah.
romance him, I
Yeah.
probably would romance him anyway, because I think he's really cool. In the same way, I did the same thing for Morrigan, where I just did it because I knew the story would happen, and then I was like, I actually do really like Morrigan.
Yeah,
but
you did fall
it
for.
didn't happen with Anders at all. I don't like Anders very much,
Love
but
that.
I don't like
Thrilled
him as
about
a
it.
person.
Yeah,
Because obviously he blows up a church. Speaking of Anders,
yeah,
Varric's like, hey, come meet the person that I'm bringing.
yeah.
And then you go up to the top of the battlements, and who is Varric's contact?
Hawk.
It's our fucking Hawk.
It's Ash Hawk.
You get to customize them.
Mm-hmm.
I had to pull up a picture of Florence. It took me ages to get it right because those sliders are very different.
Very different.
So
I went for a real rough approximation.
I went for a little approximation. She's a bit thinner because I didn't really have a choice to make her as beefy as she was in 2.
I think the engine's just different or something, whatever.
I gave her a cool scar though, because I was like, she's been through a lot. I tell you what, fucking awesome to see in Hawk again.
Yeah.
Man, it's crazy because it's fun because
and it keeps her personality.
It does.
Yeah.
So it's fun because the personalities in 2 are so intricate. She was really, really nice to me and then was not kind about other things, which I was like, that is how I acted.
Yeah.
In a circle, you're really blue to, you're really kind, anything else is red. And I was like, oh my god, she's acting exactly like I would make her do it. And I thought it was fucking cool. She was like, hey Varric, and they were like, hey, blah 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 blah, and she was like, oh my god, hi, how's it going? And I was like, oh yeah, good, blah blah blah, about Corypheus and all this. She's like, what a fucking cunt, eh? I'm like, yeah, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I love her so.
Yeah.
I was so stoked.
She's
in her fucking classic, really cool armor.
Yeah.
Man, I love that armor from 2. I think it's so awesome.
It's really good.
Yeah, it's great.
She gives you, because Varric in the beginning gives you like a little bit of like, oh, where is everybody?
She knows.
She gives you a real thing, and she was just like, I couldn't have Fenris following me here because he'd kill everyone in who tried to hurt me. So I had to sneak here.
That's
yeah,
pretty funny. My headcanon of the fact that Hawk and Anders stayed together after 2 but then ended up breaking up canonically is what happens pretty much. She's like, yeah, Anders couldn't come because Corypheus, we've already fought him. He acted really bad whenever Corypheus was near, or last time, so I wanted him to stay at home. And I was like, yeah, what happened after he blew up the Chantry? And she's like, it's really bad and we haven't gotten past it yet. It's like, she's fully like, I just don't. It's so crazy because you don't know each other. So it's like, this woman is going through relationship troubles and just starts talking about them immediately.
Yeah.
It's like, so how's your boyfriend? She's like, she's not even like oh yeah, no, good. Because she doesn't know you.
She's
it's
just
bad
like,
enough that she's like, yeah, it's bad, dude.
What do you fucking think? You read the book.
You read the book. He blew up a church and it's hard to move past that. And we haven't done it yet. And I'm like, oh God, I just love it. Because also, I'm like, yeah, they break up. That's like kind of what my headcanon was regardless.
Yeah.
Is that they stay together for the end of the game and then they end up breaking up. It's awesome. Yeah. I was just so stoked. Yeah. And I love Hawk so much.
Me too. Hawk's the best. And I liked it. My Hawk was very, she's very sarcastic, but then, she was like, no, I couldn't bring Fenris here. There are Templars here and he'd kill them all. And anybody who tried to talk to me wrong.
Not only that, you have a Tevinter mage upstairs.
Yep.
Everyone's dead.
Everyone's dead. He'll kill anyone who looks at me bad. And I know this, so I had to sneak out of our bed in the middle of the night to come here.
A little note saying XOXO, I'm fine, please.
Fine. Yeah.
I'll be back in a few
So
days.
I'll have to catch him up.
Wow, that's crazy. It's
yeah.
I love 2 so much. And I am frustrated by that fact. I tell you what, you can customize Skyhold in this. I have so much Kirkwall shit around my house. My throne is Kirkwall based. I have the Kirkwall banners.
That's funny.
A lot of it is Dalish because I'm like, that's what Helwyn would do. But when it came to like, if I don't have a Dalish option, I have the Kirkwall one.
Yeah.
I love that city. I love it so much. Just,
yeah. I haven't done any customization, but I did pick my pajamas because those default pajamas are so stupid.
They're bad.
They're bad, and they look bad. They especially look bad on anyone who's not a human or an elf. They look bad on dwarves. They look bad on Canary. So I went upstairs and I chose the outerwear, which is so chic and cozy looking.
Nice. Yeah. I picked I have like a really light leather like stuff that I'm wandering around in. Because I'm also like, it's cold here. I don't believe it when people aren't like shivering and they're hanging out outside casually. It's like, no, dude, you're cold.
You better be cold.
Fucking mountains. Skyhold is also fucking awesome looking.
It's awesome.
God, it looks great. It's my favorite. I guess we don't really have a camp in too, but we have Kirkwall.
Well, you have your home. I like your final home in Kirkwall. I think that it's pretty neat.
Yeah.
But it's true. You don't really have like a hub.
Yeah. So it's like Denerim Castle I didn't like very much. And the camp is whatever.
Camp is always camp.
But it's like Skyhold is just what a cool hub.
Yeah.
Like, that's fucking, it's just awesome. It looks great. It's got a cool name.
Yeah.
It's got a cool
it
place.
Changes with the time. The people there. The people there. Did you go visit the quartermaster? You must have.
Yeah, I think so.
So there's a new quartermaster. Thren, who is alive because we both saved Thren, is no longer serving as the quartermaster for the Inquisition and will be leaving. Because now that the Inquisition is gaining popularity, Josie has said that their opinions are a little bit too controversial to be in a service position here. And so they have been moved out of the public eye. And we have a new quartermaster.
Holy shit. That's crazy. Hey, you did really good work for us, but your tweets are too problematic.
You keep tweeting Logain was right, and we cannot have that.
You have to quit. I'm so sorry.
We don't want to fire you, but if you could just
You're in a bit of a red pill rabbit hole right now. I do as well. I fuck it. Because Josephine comes into this game on a bit of a back foot, exclusively because we know Cullen from previous games. Liliana is obviously Liliana. Everyone loves her. Cassandra is like a new party member, and Josephine isn't anything. She's just kind of like, she just kind of turns up. Man, she's awesome.
She's awesome.
She's so good. She's like, because also you could take her on face as like a very, she's just nice and pretty smart, and she's a bit, she's not a secretary, but she does have the secretary desk. Like, when you're walking into the war room, she has like the desk that makes her look like she's just a bit of a secretary.
Well, she's your dignitary, so like anybody who's coming in to meet with the Inquisition, they're obviously going to the war room, but they are stopping with her first, and she is your eyes and ears. And the first time you speak to her at Skyhold, she's like, hey, so number one most important thing that I
people need to dress
is that people need to dress well. We need to fix this place up because dignitaries are going to come here. And also that plot to kill Empress Celine, because you see it in the future. I hear the Templars talking about their plans before they happen. And she's like, that plan can't happen. There's a ball coming up. I am going to work on getting you tickets. We don't have those connections yet. So this place needs to get in tip-top shape. You need to be on your best behavior. And I'm going to do everything I can to get us into that thing so that we can stop this from happening.
Doesn't, like, as you're talking about it, Cullen turns up and is a bit like, ugh, but why do we need to do that?
Yeah.
And is like, the game is the most important thing that happens in this this world. Like, which is cool because because Liliana in this game, she's like, and in the first one, she's very spy. She's in that, like, all the things that make it look like she wouldn't like the game. But then you forget that she's Orlesian and is one of the best people at the game ever.
And then to do it.
And she turns up and she's like, nope, the game is so important and good. So please,
and a great time.
Yeah. She like loves the stuff. Yeah. So that's fun. That's a cool thing where I like Josephine a lot because she is doing, and also on all of the war table stuff that she does, all of her things are like, it's all caught backhandedness that she's able to pull. Like all of the things that she says she can do is like, what's that fucking line where she says, "Oh, I can destroy that marriage in 4 words and a wrong glove left on the wrong table."
Exactly.
And it's like, this woman's like great at her job. Like she's so no, she's great. I think Josephine is a fucking awesome character.
Yeah, she's great.
She's one of my faves. Yes. So that's where we said we'd end.
Well, that was the main. That's the end of the main quest. The next thing that I did that I wanted to do was I went to go talk to Cassandra, and she was chasing Varric around the tavern trying to kill him. With her hands.
Love them so much.
and I had to yell, "Stop all of this." Is this what it means to be Inquisitor? And Cassandra's like, "We needed Hawk to be the Inquisitor." And I'm like, what? Hello?
You just said that I was the best choice.
Yesterday. What are you talking about? So she's pissed because she's like, Hawk could have been there at the conclave. Hawk could have stopped this. Hawk could have, and then Hawk would be the Inquisitor if she didn't stop it. And I'm like, look, whatever about all that. I'm here now, and I'm the Inquisitor now. And Varric is like, also, screw you guys. You never appreciated Hawk, and Hawk would be dead too.
Yeah.
If Hawk went to that conclave. You people have done too much to her. And it's an awesome little fuck you.
That's great. I actually haven't seen that cutscene, so I will do that as soon as we get off this.
Yeah, just talk to Cassandra. It's best.
Yeah.
And then I got my specialization. Yeah. So I am no longer just any mage. I had the option. You meet 3 mages who Josephine calls there to come and get you a proper education. She's like, the Inquisitor needs to be good at what they do, so I need somebody to come in and teach them. So I got the option to learn the art of Fade magic, which is the school of magic that Solus practices.
Yes, the Rift
mage.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I had the option to be a necromancer, which is playing with life and death and all of that. And then I had the option to be the Night Enchanter.
Oh my god, that is the sexiest one in this game.
It's very sexy. It is very sexy. And that's what Vivienne does.
Yeah.
Where you basically have a magic sword.
You're just a melee mage.
Yeah.
Up there with a fucking summoning a sword.
Yeah.
Oh god, it's so cool. Yeah.
I am a necromancer.
Nice. You and your boyfriend.
Me and my boyfriend.
You and your boyfriend necromancers together.
Yeah.
What did you have to do for that? Because my specialization took me 100,000 years, as you saw. It took me 2 full play sessions.
Yeah.
Which people might be like, that's surely not long. It is for
20
me.
20 hours.
Now here. It took me a fucking long time.
I had to find a bunch of skulls.
Sure.
And some herbs.
Oh, sure.
And steal one of Dorian's books.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
So this is nothing, truly. This isn't a criticism or like a boon for the game. I don't like the fact that you will always be the same class as someone, because now I don't want to bring that person along because we're the same guy.
I love that.
Oh my god, I don't so much, because if I don't want 2 of the exact same class on the team, because in other Dragon Ages it doesn't really matter, because it's like in Origins you can pick 2, so you're like, going in both paths, and also like in terms of mages, like Blood Mage, no one is. The Spirit Warrior, no one is. And there's one other that I don't think anyone is either. So it's like you have a lot of room to be like, oh, I am a special little guy. This is just me. In 2, it's the same. Like I was a Reaver.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
I was a Templar as well, and no one was those classes. Actually, in Dragon Age 2, every character has a very specific class that only they have.
Yeah.
And then you have 3 special classes that only you can be. And I really liked that because it was one of the things is I brought everyone along because everyone was going to have something different to me all the time.
Yeah.
In this, you have to be the same as someone else, which makes bringing that person along like less important to me, which is a bit of a shame.
Well, then what did you pick?
So being a rogue and an archery rogue, my thing took me 100,000 years because I ended up being an artificer.
Yeah,
because
it's the best one. It's the hardest one to do.
Yeah, it sucks. I will admit, I did do a Google on like what's the best rogue one, because assassin sounded fun, but all of the symbols for assassin, because Cole is an assassin, all of the like symbols are all like knives and stuff, and I was like, I don't want to like pick this class and then not be able to use any of my stuff because I'm archery. So I got a bit paranoid about that.
Oh yeah, it doesn't affect that, but yeah,
it's the like, you know, kind of like psycho like thing, you know what I mean? I just mentally connected it to it, and then there's the potions one that I thought was cool and fit thematically, but Sarah was it.
Yeah.
And I actually haven't brought Sarah along almost ever, but I did once just before the specialization pick, and she was talking to Blackwall, and they have such good dialogue that I was like, oh shit, okay, maybe I do want to bring her along more. And then I was like, well, I don't want the thing with that. And then unfortunately, devastatingly, Varric is the artificer, and it's like, I can't believe I'm gonna bring Varric along less. Which actually, weirdly, I do bring Varric along a lot less than others.
He's not your best guy the same way he was Hawk's best guy.
No. And that's it. In 2, Varric was pretty much a consistent. It was rare for me to walk out without Varric.
Yeah.
But in this, Varric's like, they do a really good job of having Varric be your best friend, and then in this, having Varric be just a guy. He's a guy who you kind of know the backstory of, because
his backstory is famous. He famously has a best friend. So back off.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not trying to be his best friend.
Exactly.
So my main, I have mains now, is I do actually switch out a fair amount, but Blackwall is my main tank. Solus, Dorian I normally have. Blackwall, Solus, Dorian are normally my guys, because I fill in the rogue thing. But then if not them, if not Dorian, I have Cole, but I need to have the people who have good conversation. And I don't know what it is. Fucking love Blackwall so much.
I love him too.
He's just the coolest guy in the universe. What are you doing?
I wanted to see if anybody asked us any questions, because I opened the floor for that.
Very nice. So I went for Artificer. I actually haven't used it because it took me so fucking long to find those stupid alpha quillbacks.
Yeah.
It took me all day. So what you need to do, you need to get these alpha quillback quills from them.
From the Western Approach.
Or you can go to the whole is it the Exalted Plains? You can go there.
Oh, yeah.
And you can get friendly with the Dalish elves there, and then you could buy them from their trader. And I was like, fascinating. Okay, sure. So instead of finding this last quillback that I couldn't do, I was getting really frustrated with how it just wasn't turning up, or I couldn't find them, that I went to the Exalted Plains. I did all of the Dalish elf quests. And then when I looked at the shop, when I was finally allowed to do the shop, because the Dalish elves don't want to trade with anyone who they don't trust, I was like, oh, it's not there. And then I Googled it, and it's like, oh yeah, you need to have this one specific perk, Inquisition perk, to do it. And I'm currently trying to get Deft Hands Fine Tools or whatever.
Yeah.
because I'm trying to also do Blackwall's main quest. And to finish his main quest, I need Deft Hands Find Tools. And it's a whole fucking thing. I was getting so frustrated with it.
Yeah.
And then I went back and then because I thought I did it because I built a bridge. And it was like, all you need to do is build a bridge. And you're like, no, you need to build 2 bridges. Or there's 2 different places that you can build a bridge and you haven't activated the one to build the proper bridge yet. I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
And then I did it. Yeah.
Yep.
Then I did it. And you went out for a 15-minute walk and I did it immediately.
Yeah. In the time I came back, it was done already.
Yeah.
Yep. So now we are an artificer.
Yep. Artificer, rogue.
And a necromancer.
Yeah. And I'm kind of justifying the pick for becoming an artificer with, it's just like, it's what Helwyn is picking up whilst being around in the Inquisition.
Yeah.
She doesn't do a lot of hunting anymore. She goes out and fights people, but the people who she spends a lot of time with are like really smart and handy. And it's like Blackwall is like a carpenter and does a lot of carpentry stuff. Varric is an artificer. So I think that it's like, I think Helwyn and Blackwall kind of had a father-daughter relationship in my eyes. So then Blackwall kind of taught her how to do stuff, and Varric is like, he is constantly backing everyone, and he was like, oh, let me show you how to do some stuff actually, because it's good to do that. So it's like, then they hung out, and then that's my justification for her being an artificer, is she's using her old hunting skills and in need of becoming the Inquisitor. She's like, I need to help modernly rather than doing old teachings, and has become an artificer.
Oh my god.
Yeah, is my justification.
I did give a little bit of a thought to why. Because I've only really just met Dorian, and while that would be a very romantic reason, I don't think it fits as to why at this very moment. So I think that the reason for me for Boss is truly Boss is like, I'm in over my head now.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to be here.
Full stop.
I'm here by accident. Still not sure how many of these people trust me or don't want me dead. Cassandra still really middling on me. So yeah, and now I have to win this whole entire war for the sake of the entire planet. So I'm gonna need the thing that lets me control life.
Yeah,
for sure. I don't see any other way.
Yeah,
I have to.
That's a cool justification.
I have to be able to do whatever it takes.
Yeah,
to live. And to do this. So yeah, you want this Inquisition 1? I need to be able to bring shit back from the dead, baby.
What are your thoughts on the specializations, and specifically the ones that they've like left out? Like, you can't be, this is the only one you can't be a blood mage in, for example.
Yeah. I'm sad about that. There's no healer necessarily. There's not like a healer
choice. You just can't heal in this game.
No, you can heal. There are plenty of healing spells. But there's not a healer class.
Oh, sure.
So like no, there's definitely healing spells. But
I always thought they were like shields.
There are shield spells too.
Yeah.
But there are healing spells. And there's like a revive kind of thing. Yeah. But yeah, I'm not too upset about it. And Arcane Warrior was just called something else in the previous game, so that's
Spirit Warrior.
Spirit Warrior, yeah.
No, it used to be called Arcane Warrior. It is now called something else.
Right. It's now called
Night Enchanter.
Thank you.
Which again is, oh god, it's so sexy.
It's very sexy.
So cool.
It is. It's the hardest one to get to.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's cool. This is the thing that I like. It's a thing they didn't do in 2, but they did do in Origins, and they do in this. It's a choice to pick a specialization.
And it takes an active choice.
You have to work at it and do stuff. There are characters with backstory that teach you, like, they have reasonings as to why their specialization is the best. It's a whole rigmarole. You don't just click it.
And people will mention it.
And that is great.
Yeah.
That is a huge boon. I really like that. Yeah.
I'm a big fan of it.
So, well, see, because I want to be asking you, like, who are you liking? Like companion wise, like, who's your favorite, like, party members to carry on, and who is your guys? Because
I love everyone.
All of them.
I love having everyone, and I am still mixing it up as much as I can, because at some point something's going to click in my brain and I'm going to have favorites, and
I also am switching out a lot for.
So I'm switching it as much as possible while I still am not, like, attached to my group. But so I'm really liking I do love Varric, obviously. Iron Bull and I have, like, a little bit of a contentious thing
of course,
happening. And I want to spy on him because he's a spy for the Qun, and he's in my inner circle. And he did a great thing with that whole, like with that whole intro to your like men on the ground. That was great and everything, but I gotta know more about him. I have to, because he could be telling our secrets to what I personally know to be the most dangerous army in the world. And I have to know if that's the truth.
Oh, I spoke to Krem a little bit more.
Yeah.
He says
Cremitius Aclassi, my man. My dude.
Oh, is that full name?
Yeah.
He has a fun thing where he's like, oh yeah, the reason why Iron Ball has one eye is because he saved me specifically in Tevinter.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah.
All the things all the things that you hear about Iron Ball. It is kind of what I think is fun about him, because when I did his romance originally, I felt like it was very, like, he was very shallow in that way. Like, maybe it was just like a writing thing where his romance wasn't written super great. But he's mainly about, like, sex and doesn't care about, like, the romance of it all and stuff. As far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
But I think it's kind of cool that he is this, like, such a full, really good guy in every respect when it comes to, like, hey, you got to know who your people are. And, Krem's like, yeah, no, he's fully saved my life and lost an eye because of it. And he never chastises people when they drop the ball in a fight, as long as they, like, tighten
up next time.
That's it, and all this stuff. But then you get into a relationship with him and he does not know, he just doesn't know how to do it, and he's very paper thin. I was like, that's kind of fun. I like that. I think that's nice. I'm liking Sarah more. I love Cassandra. She's just my favorite.
I love Sarah. I'm loving Sarah. Sarah keeps me grounded. Sarah is reminding me, like,
she is a cool
what it's like to be normal and a person.
Yeah. Because everyone in this game is very. It's the offset of 2, where everyone in 2 is very grounded because they're all just fuck ups.
Yeah.
But then in this, everyone is like,
everyone's a big someone.
Deal.
Everyone's a big deal.
You have, you have a literal first enchanter on your team. Crazy. You have Solus, who's like someone who just regularly just travels and into the Veil and speaks with demons. You have Dorian, who's who invented time magic, basically
on track to be an Archon in his lifetime.
Yeah. You've got Iron Bull, who's the leader of one of the best companies, the Chargers, and all this stuff, and Cassandra, who is, a seeker.
A legendary dragon killer.
Yeah. And then Sarah, who's like, yes, admittedly, she is one of the Friends of Red Jenny, which is one of the best like rogue thief things of all time. But she's just kind of a girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's kind of a girl.
And it's just kind of cool. It's cool how it's like origins, everyone is of noble cause, and then you have Black Call, who's the last Grey Warden,
Right. Yeah, everybody's a big deal.
Yeah. And it's cool that in origins everyone is of noble, everyone wants to save the world is kind of their thing, but they're all kind of ragamuffins, but they're ragamuffins who are going to try to save the world. Dragon Age 2, everyone is a fuck up. Everyone sucks in some specific way, but are there for you. And then Inquisition, you are assembling the greatest of all time. Like the people who are to the point where the champion of Kirkwall isn't in your party, but is there. And like that's kind of a show of how much of a big deal the Inquisition is, and that this kind of story is so much higher. It has a chosen one. It has you are the chosen one, and then it's like you've now fully resurrected this whole thing, and you have a whole ass keep, and every person in your party is like, again, you have Varric, who's again one of the
one of the friends of the
an international
famous author.
Yeah. And then it's cool. It's just nice how the parties match the vibe. I think that's really interesting and cool. I'm excited to see how it kind of pans out with the Veilguard, because we know people. We know.
I don't want to talk about it,
but I don't know who they are.
I don't even. I can't even think about it. I can't even think about that. We're not there yet.
I know, but it's interesting.
The next thing. Do you want to know what the next thing is?
What is
that we have to do?
I actually have to write it down. What is it?
We have to do Wicked Eyes and Wicked Hearts.
This is the game.
This is the game. You can do a bunch of stuff before that.
I know I have done. I've done it.
But do not trigger Here Lies the Abyss. Whatever you do.
Where you do Hawk. And that's the one that we're doing after next week. Because in the mission title it says Hawk. Go do this and speak to Hawk,
Yeah. So now Hawk is at Skyhold.
Yeah.
Hanging out.
Which is so awesome.
Which is great.
God, it's so cool. I'm so glad. I wish I wish Quinton was there. I want to have the Avengers of my world all collectively hang out. I love it so much.
Cool.
Yeah. Aside from that, I've done loads of shit. I've helped unseat people from power on our war table. Helped the Dalish a load. I took Griffin's Keep again.
Yeah,
that's
you did.
Mine. I am, however, a thing which I think is fun. Quinton is the greatest mage to ever live.
Correct.
Hawk, Florence in particular, is someone who I think is one of the coolest women ever. And in this, I think it's fun that Helwyn just isn't cool.
Yeah.
Isn't slick. She's just overwhelmed at all times and is very nice. And I think it's a fun shift, because when Hawk turned up, I was like, holy shit, that's my girl. Like, that's my champion of Kirkwall. But Helwyn is so not that to me. But because of this, I'm really, really going to try to not kill any dragons that I don't have to, because I know the dragons can appear around the map. And like, Quinton killed like 3 dragons. Hawk killed 2 high dragons. And I'm really going to try to have Helwyn not kill any of them.
I love that.
Thematically.
Yeah.
Like she's also a bit like, they are part of nature and they're part of the world, so they should live. But I've seen dragons on the horizon, and it's like, I also think that Helwyn in universe isn't good enough to kill a dragon. The reason why she's the leader is because it's not her strength of like body, but of heart that is of what heart. Pushes everyone through and what is going to win the fight in the end.
Do you know what you've made?
What?
You've made a Momo O'Brien character.
Yeah,
you've made a Momo Inquisitor.
Yeah, true. I have done. Yeah.
Love that. Yeah. Boss is gonna fuck up every dragon. Kill them all.
That's the coolest shit in the world.
To let off steam from the fact that he's the leader of a world organization, not because he's awesome, which he is, by the way.
Yeah.
He's a fucking crazy good mage. He's awesome. He's a killing machine. He was part of the best mercenary party. He misses them so bad. He wishes he was out killing dragons with them right now and making money and getting drunk every night. And now he's got to go make political decisions, and he's got to hear about what some chevalier's opinions are for some reason. He's having a horrible time.
Yeah.
And so he's gonna kill dragons. That's gonna be his that's gonna be like his hunting trip, you know, to let off steam to get through this. So he's loving Dorian. He's really eye to eye with Dorian already, because Dorian also doesn't like where he's from, but is also proud of what he is.
Yeah.
Really
That's
resonated
cool.
with
cool.
Boss immediately. Like, yeah, no, I hate the Cune, but I am still proud of being a Qunari, and fuck that. So I love that we're seeing eye to eye on that. I talked to Cullen, and we're a little bit. I'm gonna wait till you bring it up, but Cullen and I are seeing eye to eye a little bit more.
Cool.
Cass and I are still tough. Varric and I are buds. Solus, I'm really I want to be the best mage that ever lived, and he is, and so that's the guy I got to talk to every single day. Yeah. Love Josephine because I trust her, and I don't understand a word of what she says. And so
she has a skill set that you just
I need her
have.
to just tell me what to wear and point me at the right diplomat, and I'll smile or whatever.
That must have been a fun conversation when you walked in and she was like, "Oh, people need to dress better." And Bars might have just been like, "No, they don't. It's fine." She's like, No. Sit down. This is why people need to dress better." And then being like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
Oh shit, sure.
Exactly. Stunning. Perfect.
Yeah.
And Cole saved my life. So he could be as weird as he wants to be.
Yeah.
I think he's great. Vivienne, I need her perspective. I'm not sure I'm in on it, but I need it.
Nice.
You know, she's gonna keep me. I got real freaked out when that Cole guy was not Cole, when that Connor guy was like, yeah, mages are bad. I'm a mage, and I almost killed my entire family and all my kingdom and everyone who lived with me. So I do need you to get your shit together. Yeah, who am I missing?
Really
Blackwall.
Cool. Yeah.
Blackwall, I came to him for specific help, and he gave me none of what I asked for. So I don't understand why we're even keeping him around. I literally, I still have to go find out what's happening with the Grey Warnens. So what?
So what is the point of you?
Stay out of my way is all I have to say. Don't talk to me unless you have something to say to me that's going to be helpful. I keep finding Grey Warden shit, and you're like, that'll be helpful. I'm like, how? Why? What is like? Give me something. Prove yourself to me in some way.
So funny, because most of the time, whenever I love a character and then someone else, normally you, doesn't, I always feel a little defensive. I need to back them up. You doing that with Blackwall, I was like, yeah, I love him.
Yeah.
He's so fucking useless.
Am I missing anybody? I said Sarah. I love her because she keeps me grounded, and she's like she's my buddy. I think that's everyone.
That's everyone.
Yep.
Speaking of a thing, have you done any of the sit down throne missions yet?
Yeah, I judged 2 people. I judged, most importantly, after I rescued our people from the Falomire, the chieftain of that clan came in through goats.
Yes,
parts.
full ass goats. With a very funny cutaway joke.
Yeah, where
Of
he
like,
just
it's just
smacks
a wall and a goat eating, and I was like, oh, this is fun, and then a goat
yeah,
hits the side.
hits the side and slides down. It's excellent. And so he's like, he's like, this is nothing. You killed my son. I hit your building with a goat. That's what we do. We're done here. But it still makes you do something. There's no option to be like,
oh, okay,
go. All right, where it's over.
Yeah.
So I picked arm them and send them to Tevinter.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, we get to do war? That's our favorite thing.
I
loved that.
Yeah, it's very good. I didn't do that. I wanted to do that, but there was a thing that said gibbet, and I was like, what's a gibbet? And I thought I'd just ask what a gibbet is.
You put him in the stocks.
Yeah.
You put him in the
but
stocks.
It's so funny because the line is, put him in the gibbet, and then he'll, I don't know. It's just kind of, oh, it's because of the beeping. Are we stopping because of the beeping?
Oh, is it beeping?
It's beeping again. It is, trust me. Wait, maybe put him back on. Maybe talk through the beeping. I swear it was.
I don't know why we're high-fiving about that.
I don't know, but your hand went up in such a.
I was so proud of you for for being right. Have you thought about why I have headphones on this whole time?
Because you're trying to hear for the gibbet?
No.
Wait, no, the gibbet is what we're talking about.
The reason is there's no reason I shouldn't have these on. You're right here.
I thought it was for sound quality. You were just listening.
We could say that. We could say that's for what it's for.
Yeah, that's what I thought it has been this whole time. Those are getting louder. They hate us. That's crazy. So yeah, Helen has a funny line where it's literally like, I'm gonna put you in the gibbet and you're gonna learn something. And I was like, that's funny. But then also a lot of people disapprove. And I was like, oh, I didn't want to. Because I thought, because it was like the way that the short phrase was phrased.
Yeah, like what is it called? A gibbet?
Yeah.
Is what the text says.
So with that, I was like, yeah, like what are you talking about here? And I thought it was something that he did, that he said that I missed. And then it's like, oh yeah, put him in the fucking stocks. And I was like, oh, I wouldn't do that. That doesn't make any sense. I would have just armed him and sent him to Tevinter because that would have been funny.
Yeah, I like that one. I wasn't sure if that would be a good thing or not, but it was. He loved it, and everyone else loved it.
Yeah,
so I thought that was
Tevinter are the enemies, and he gets to go kill more people. But with the servicing of Inquisition shit, you could just give him.
Yeah.
I do think it's funny how he turns up and he's like, "We're done."
Yeah, he's like I don't get it. You killed my son. I threw a goat at your house.
Yeah. And it's like,
that's what we
do. All I care. Yeah. I didn't even like my son, so I don't even care.
I just had to do that as ritualistically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny. So these people, in Felicia Day's big day out in Dragon Age 2, there's a guy who we meet who's part of that clan, right?
Do we meet somebody who is...
Yeah, right? Didn't we meet the It begins with C and it's a human clan.
No, those are the Chastened. This is not what that is.
I swear. Okay.
Yes. That's the Chastened.
I've gotten a Chastened thing from one of them. So I thought that they were related.
We've met the Chastened in several games before. This is the... What are they called, actually? I do want to...
The Avar?
The Avar. This is the... Thank you. This is the Avar. And this is the people who live in, like, the wilds of the Frostback Mountains. I don't think we encounter them much, if at all.
They are exclusively so far in the Fallow Mire.
Yeah.
I've not seen them outside of the Fallow Mire.
Yes. So what it is, the Fallow Mire is like...
That is where we go.
It's like the valley.
Right?
What?
That is where we go in Awakening, right? The Fallow Mire?
I think
that's where the werewolf thing is, and we have one of the best missions where you meet Justice.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
I think that's the same place.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where we've met them.
Yeah. Okay.
We will meet them.
The Chastened or the Avars?
Later. The Avar.
Okay. Because again, I swear that one of them gave me a chastened thing. So I thought that I thought that they were the same guys,
no.
but it must have just been like a
Yeah.
unrelated. But because they were close enough to each other, I just put 2 and 2.
Yeah.
2 and 4 together.
Yeah. These are the wildlings from Game of Thrones.
Sure, yeah. They look very wildling from Game of Thrones,
and they've got the same accent as the wildlings.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I did. God, yeah. There's a place in oh my God, what Orlais? There's a place in Orlais that I unlocked called something Dillin that I can't.
Whoa, the Emperor Dillin,
which I can't go in because I went to this village and I spoke to a bunch of people. Everything's like frozen over. It's like a big story that everything is frozen all of a sudden. And I spoke to all the villagers and I was like, okay, I'm going to go help out. And then I stepped 2 foot outside and then everything was like,
everything will kill
high
you.
tier, like you can't go here. And then again, I was like, but Blackwall asked me to come here and do his mission here. So I got a little
You gotta
sad.
wait.
Because that is like, because I also have from Vivienne collect all the tomes. Those are the first step in their personal missions, right?
It's not tiered. It in the way that Origins was, where you like completed like a step in their personal mission and then you got like a next step, which 2 also did, I guess. This is like as you progress, they will give you all of their
okay. So you just have to keep talking to them and then eventually
and gain approval with them and get their backstory and stuff, and you will unlock their quest if you don't. This is like each companion, I'll say this, each companion has like a personal quest and like a scout mission. One that's like related to their passion. Like Cassandra wants you to find the Seeker documents and Blackwall wants you to find the Grey Warden artifacts.
Varric wants you to do the Red Lyrium stuff.
Correct. This is like that's something connected to their backstory that they want you to do out in the world for them. And then the other one is like a personal, like our relationship is gonna get stronger by doing this quest as well. That's more of a story. So each one has like a kind of atmospheric quest and a story quest.
Does the atmospheric quest help story-wise?
It does. Some more than others, I would say. Cassandra's has some pretty big
things,
implications. Blackwall's has some impact on the story overall. Cullen has one that is very impactful on the story.
Liliana and Cullen. Cullen and Josephine, I have to remember to talk
I went to go talk to Liliana up in her little crow's nest.
Yeah.
And she was reading the list of the dead at Haven. It was touching scene.
Love her.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Yeah.
Mine's going to be a far bigger book.
Yeah, it will. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
We are doing Wicked Eyes and Wicked Hearts next.
Very excited.
I am thrilled actually to see how that goes for you. I'm never excited about Wicked Eyes and Wicked Hearts, but now I'm pumped about it. So
damn, it's going to take us all the way to middle of December. Good Lord.
Yep.
Just looking at our schedule there for our audio listeners.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I am liking it. I tell you what. So moving here with you now.
Yes.
Truly, this is the best time to do Inquisition, because in the weeks when I was at home, I still was holding down 3 jobs and couldn't give this game time. Now, because I also had a dog and a partner to look after.
Yeah.
But now I'm here, my partner is looking after the dog, and one of the jobs, which was the most demanding, I no longer have because I live in New York. So whilst waiting for you, I just played Dragon Age Inquisition, and it's getting me through so much
You're
shit.
Unfortunately living my dream, which is to sit at home playing Dragon Age all day and then hang out with me at the end of the day.
I know, isn't it so fucking good?
So good.
Yeah, it's just pretty killer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good fucking game. I want people to ask us a million questions about
I
shit.
do. We actually answer. I went to check. We answered all of the questions in.
God, we're so good at
We're
this.
so good at
So
this.
fucking good at this. Ask us more interesting questions that you don't think we'll ask on our own.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think now with our new sign off, we can be a little mean because
So-
it has a mean energy to it. Because we're now our sign off is not of the good guys like it's been for every other game.
Yeah.
Our sign off is the
Okay,
bad guy.
I wanna like make it unique and our own a little bit.
Beg that we succeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how though. I like it being mocking because we had people on Twitter say that it was very exciting.
Yeah, we don't want to upset the fetishists that listen to this
It was
show.
very exciting when we were mean to them.
Yeah.
So I really like that. So I don't know how we could. I had a brief idea and I've forgotten it, unfortunately. How we can make this more personal, but regardless, I'll think of it in between weeks.
You tiny ants.
You absolutely pathetic scum.
You meddling fool.
Idiot losers.
Yes.
Okay, now here's my thing.
What?
I'm thinking of that. What if we say mocking, and then be like something like, you have to be here next episode for we have seen the throne of gods and we've seen that it's empty, or something like that. Something to be like, it's us who are better than you. Like they are, like, you know what I mean?
Hey, you. We're better than you.
We've seen the
Because
throne of gods. We've seen that it's empty.
For we have seen the throne of the gods, and it was empty.
And it is empty. How are you feeling about that? Or we could just do the line, beg that we succeed.
I just want to say, beg that we succeed. I think we could sex up the beg a little bit. Beg. Yeah. Beg.
Do you think we've said
a little bit harder?
Do you think we've
Beg.
said beg enough for all
Beg.
people to?
You can come now. Beg. Beg that we succeed. For we have seen the throne of the gods, and it is empty.
This is a horny one. This is hornier than the last one. I like that. I like giving some spice on the beg.
Beg. You got. Oh God! What a horny show.
It's not supposed to be. We're supposed to be talking about Dragon Age.
Same thing. That's what I said. That's what I.